Hey everybody, welcome back to Stringman Guitars. This is a video about a COVID guitar kit that I bought in 2020. It's a Les Paul Special from Sola Guitars in Toronto. I did all the sanding, made some comfort cuts, did the sealing, did the fret leveling, had my headstock engraved with my logo, and then I realized I didn't have a pickguard, and that's where Christian Culture Guitars comes in with Jesse. He made me this pickguard, and take it away, Jesse.
Hey guys, what's up? Jesse Howard here from Christian Culture Guitars. Got a very special request today from Victor over at Stringman Guitars YouTube. He's building a kit guitar. It's an LP special-ish kind of thing. However, he's run into a situation where he can't use an actual Gibson pickguard because some of the dimensions are not exactly right. And sometimes you're going to run into this kind of thing where the companies that build your kits don't consult with the original blueprints for specific models, and sometimes it can kind of leave you in the dark as to how to get the parts you need, how to get them to fit right. And you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you could really get into a situation where the guitar's not going to turn out like the vision that you have in your head. So come on with me, we're going to get into it. I'm going to break down how to build a pickguard the right way, the old-fashioned way, and we're going to make this as simple as possible. So come on, let's get into it, and I'll show you how it's done. Alright guys, so let's start from the very beginning. When Victor told me that he wanted this pickguard, one of the first things I asked him for is if he could trace out exactly what he wanted. And this is what he came up with. He actually had already taken the time to do that. He cut this out literally out of like a cereal box, which is actually a really great way to do it. Just some kind of thin cardstock of some kind. Poster board works great. But what he sent me was not only that template, which does fit the guitar absolutely the way he wants it to fit. He actually sent me pictures, which hopefully he can edit into the video right now. Okay, as you could see in those pictures, hopefully, if he edited this video that I'm doing for you now, this fits the guitar exactly the way he wants it to. But he was also very clear with some notes that he sent along with it as to what he's looking for. You know, he made detailed notes. He wanted this corner softened, right, more rounded off like the real Gibson version. All right, so we're gonna do that. He wanted these screw holes, but he wants them beveled, right, like a real pickguard. You know, that's what he wants. He wants these corners softened, more rounded off. He wants this inside curve of the guard a little more. He wrote soften there as well, but I think what he's alluding to is he wants that curve to be a little more subtle, a little more gentle, more like the real deal, right? And so while this template fits the guitar exactly the way he wants it, and we're going to make this exact thing as a pickguard, we're also going to take some liberties, and we've got enough material that we're going to also try to make one that is as close to the Gibson pickguard as we can, while at the same time making it actually fit the guitar that he has. Some of the critical measurements here are the distance between the two pickup rings, so the distance from here to there, right? Because it won't fit the guitar if that space is too wide, right? So if this pickguard's too wide at those points, it's not going to fit on the guitar. Likewise, if it's too narrow, you're going to have a gap between one or both of the rings. One of the things that I suggest when you're making your template, which is what we're doing down here, is that when you trace this out, after you have this drawn on, like What I suggest doing is laying out like masking tape on the guitar, tracing out the critical areas, and then drawing in exactly what you want, and then try to peel that masking tape up all as one, right? And if you possibly can, and then put it down on some kind of cardstock, cereal box, or poster board, or whatever you're going to use to make your hard template. Then take that hard template, trace it out on 1/2 inch thick plywood or something comparable. It can be thicker. You're not bound to it being any particular thickness. I prefer 1/2 inch. It's just easy to use. It's a little bit lighter weight, easy to deal with. But when you're tracing these out, all right, chances are your template, you're going to have made tight 90-degree corners. Go ahead and actually get a pickup ring, because those corners have a radius on them, right? So go ahead and trace it out initially with those sharp corners, but then use the pickup ring to line it up and then trace out the actual radius so that it will hug up against your actual rings as tight as possible. Some pickup rings can have different radii in that corner. I don't know that these are exactly what he needs, but these are pretty standard rings, and so we're going to hope and pray that those are as close to the ones that he's using as possible. And if he has to adjust them to be a little bit wider radius, he can do that with minimal sanding by the time the pickguard gets to him. So first things first, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut out these 2 templates. This one, what I did was I actually looked at examples of true Gibson Les Paul specials, and I adjusted some of the angles. You'll notice that the inside curve here is a little bit softer than on his actual template. It's a little less pronounced. And the upper bout of the pickguard is a little wider, because that's a little more like what it looks like on the actual Gibson. And most importantly, this angle is now angled this way instead of the other way, right? So that's how it is on the actual Gibson. Another big change that is very slight that most people might not notice at first is that where the pickup rings line up on the humbucker versions of an actual Gibson, this line right here angles away from the pickup, right? And so it creates this little triangular space between the pickguard and the pickup ring. From what I can tell without actually having the Gibson here in my shop, in my hands, that's the way it actually was on all of the humbucker versions of the Les Paul Special. So that's how we're going to make that one, but then we're also going to make one exactly to Victor's specs as this one fit. And we're doing this as a common courtesy from one builder to another. We're going to give him the option of which one suits him better, which one he likes on the guitar better. We have the means. It's not going to take that much longer, so we'll knock both of these out and just give him the option. Let him choose which one he likes better. So come on, let's go ahead and get these cut out on the bandsaw, and we'll go. All right, guys, we are at the Grizzly bandsaw. You don't have to have name brand stuff to make cool stuff. So first things first, let me talk about utilization of your bandsaw. All right, first of all, make sure if you're going to do this on a bandsaw, which is the way I suggest to do it, make sure that your bandsaw is properly set up. There are some really great videos on how to properly set up your bandsaw. You want the blade tracking the right way. Otherwise, this can be a nightmare. Make sure, I cannot stress enough, make sure that your blade is set up and tracking the way it should be. Let's also talk about the clearance within how much blade to use. All right, so what I like to do is I'll take my material, and then you can adjust the up and down how much clearance you have. Unlock it. Mine unlocks on the back, and then you can adjust the height, right? And so what I like to do is put my material next to the blade before anything started. Make sure that, you know, nothing's plugged in, all that stuff. Go ahead and adjust that down to where you have about 1/8 to 1/4 inch above the stock, and then lock everything down and go from there. All right, we're going to set that off to the side. We're going to go get some glasses. Safety first. All right, guys, here we go again. So we've got our finished shapes. Now we just need to get them down to the final shape that we need. We're going to hit these on the oscillating spindle sander, get them down to their final shape, and then these will be the templates that we'll use to make our pick guards. If you don't have an oscillating spindle sander, if you're going to be building guitars or things for guitars like pick guards, I highly recommend that you look into getting one. It's going to be one of the most versatile tools in your entire shop, I promise you. I very easily could have cut these pick guards out on my CNC because I do have the capabilities to do that, but I want to show you guys, you know, the good old-fashioned way of doing this without needing a $2,000 CNC in order to be able to do this. You can get an oscillating spindle sander, Harbor Freight even. You know, I know a lot of people will kind of put down places like that, but you know, if it gets your foot in the door, it gets you building guitars, gets you building things that you love to build. Until you can afford big, expensive equipment, use what you've got at your disposal. Let's do this thing. Alright guys, so all we're doing is we're continually working that down. I'm probably actually going to change this spindle out. This one's pretty dirty. But all we're doing is we're slowly working that down, smoothing out the edge. You want this nice and smooth because that's where the bearing of our router bit's going to ride when we actually make the actual pick guard itself. So I'm going to probably change this spindle out and just keep working away. All right, now that we got our templates cut out and sanded down real close to our lines, exactly the way we want them, let's talk about getting our pick guard material on our templates so that we can use a bearing bit to actually route out our pick guard material and getting it, you know, just on here the way we want it. So the most common method is to use double stick mounting tape, and that's totally viable. Do understand, though, that when you use this stuff, it tends to be really strong, and that as such, when you take the pick guard off of the template, this tends to leave like a really bad residue on the back of the pick guard. It can be gotten off, but it's gonna take a whole lot of elbow grease to get it off. Another option that you do have is that you can put masking tape down covering your template, and then put masking tape down on the area of the pickguard material that you plan to adhere to this. Put a couple drops of super glue on the tape and then stick the two pieces of masking tape together. It doesn't sound like it will work, but I promise you it will. It is one of the strongest bonds you will ever have, and is kind of a like a proprietary secret in the guitar luthier world. But I promise you it works, because basically what you've done is you've created double stick tape from single stick tape, so that works. Yeah, I'm not going to linger on this video too long. The important takeaway here is make sure that you keep your template exactly the way it will appear on the guitar, and that is the side you put your tape on. This is not a have to reverse it situation. Put your tape on the side that is the face of the pick guard that you want to do. Now, we're doing a single ply pick guard, so it won't matter which side of this sticks to this right now. However, if you're using a multi-layered piece that one side is different than the other, or if yours has a shiny side and a dull side, you want to put the side that you want to see facing you, facing up. You want to put the back of the pick guard against the template. That's how you do it. And then it's real simple. We're just going to use a bearing bit in a handheld router, or you can do it on a router table. Either way, doesn't matter. And you're going to route off all your edges. Then you will go back with a chamfer bit. You can use 45 or 30, whatever degree angle you want, and you need to set it to where it just kisses the edge that you want chamfered. That's how you do it. Other than that, it's drilling some holes and using a chamfer bit to countersink all your holes, and then you're done with this thing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a viewer mail segment. Not really viewer mail, but kind of. I have a Solo Guitars Les Paul Special kit that I bought at the beginning of the pandemic, and you probably saw it hanging up there in many of videos. It was just the body painted in TVLO Nitro, and finally got around to sanding the body down and putting it all together. I knew I didn't have a pick guard for it, but I also didn't know what pickups were going in it. So finally got it together and like, okay, we got to find a pick guard. And I'm looking, I'm checking the measurements of the Gibson, and they won't fit. And reason being is they don't want to, it's a kit, and it resembles a Les Paul Special, but it's not. So things have to be a little bit off, which is fine. It's a really nice kit, but I got a hold of this guy, Jesse Howard, on one of the builder groups, or one of the Facebook groups for us guitar nerds, and I saw that he made these custom back plates and stuff like that, control plates, and I think he even builds his own guitars anyhow. Got a hold of him, sent him a template of the pick guard I wanted. He actually made 2 pick guards, and he sent them to me. So let's open the box. Aha, it's one of those flappy kind of boxes. So he's out of Columbia, Kentucky. Ooh, nice box. We got, what all we got in here? Got a lot of foam. That's a nice box. Alright, let's get that out of the way. And let's get to the subject matter of the day. Oh. Okay. Okay. And okay. I believe this is the one for my template. I was trying to enlarge the hole, and I was using a long drill bit, and it must have caught the grain coming through, and it really took like a U-turn and went up. Didn't even go where I was intending for it to go. And it came through the surface, right where the pick guard's supposed to go. So you'll get a laugh out of amateur hour here. Let's bring over the subject. Let's save that, because I'm a frickin' pack rat. And let's see which one of these pick guards we're going to like on that. Okay, so here's our electric guitar, and I thought the body turned out really well, except for trying to go from this hole up to this cavity and like I said, the drill bit took a turn and came out here. So, tell you what we have. We have Goto ABR1 bridge and stop tailpiece. We have Solo guitars. I'm not sure the manufacturer, but they are Solo's house brand of locking tuners. They are 20 or 18 to 1. We have everything set up. We're intonated. We have 5/64 here and 3/64 here. We have a Switchcraft switch. Oh, and I found these cool knobs. They go to 11. Otherwise, they look kind of like with Gibson. Okay, enough of that goofing around. So let's try the original Les Paul. Oh no, is it gonna fit? We may have to shave, but will it cover my boo-boo hole? Yes, it will. Okay, I think we got a fit. I'm just going to hit the ends here with some micro mesh. Make sure everything's really smooth. I think that's the way I like it. Yeah, I'm digging that. So it kind of falls away here, and looking at Les Paul specials, that's kind of what they do. So we're going to go ahead and put some pilot holes. Not pilot holes. Yeah, pilot holes. But we're first going to use a punch. Make sure it's where we want it. Okay. Punch. And it covers up my boo-boo. Alright, so let's get our drill. And I think for these screws, I think we'll be fine. That'll be fine. And we'll mark a piece of tape so we know where to stop. Oh, by the way, Seymour Duncan Fat Cats. Since this was routed for humbuckers, we went with the Fat Cats from Seymour Duncan, which are humbucker-sized P90s, and they sound fantabulous. Okay, drilling time. Let's just throw this on here one more time to make sure that everything lines up. Okay, that one lines up, that one lines up, that one lines up. Good. Don't want to go any deeper. Than our tape says we can go. The piece of resistance. Sorry, I had a bad camera angle the whole time here. So we mounted our pickguard, and now we're removing the piece of resistance. Ah, that looks beautiful. And then I saved this for the very last. Oh yeah, nothing more satisfying. Oh man, I am stoked. Oh, look at that. That is a keeper there, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and plug it into the noisemaker and just see how it sounds. Digging it. Okay, one more time. Let's say thank you to Jesse Howard of Christian Culture Guitars for doing the pickguard, which is absolutely great. He does custom wiring harnesses. He does airbrush work. He builds guitars. He makes pickguards, obviously. He does those. He's got a CNC for doing back plates and stuff like that. Overall, great guy to deal with, very reasonable prices. I highly recommend. If you don't want to mess around with, say, one of the big pickguard, custom pickguard manufacturers that's located in Florida, you can get a hold of Jesse Howard at Christian Culture Guitars and check him out. Anyhow, love your neighbor like you love yourself. Take care of the old folks because they're indeed special. You keep on being awesome. And peace.